Welcome to this explainer. Okay, today we are fundamentally changing how you look at generative AI in IT operations. Because let's be real, if you've been using Claude just to answer basic questions or, help you write polite emails, you are leaving massive performance on the table. Claude really isn't just a chatbot. When you prompt it correctly, it actually acts like a senior engineer's assistant. And today I'm going to show you exactly how to unlock that potential using techniques sourced directly from the enterprise prompt engineering landscape. Oh, and the best part? Everything we're going to discuss today can be executed right in the demo environment of the Claude.ai free tier. So let's get to work.
Just consider the stark contrast in our daily reality for a second. On one hand, we've got the chaotic, totally manual reality of IT support. We all know this pain, right? Frantically digging through endless logs, cross-referencing confusing Slack threads, drowning in browser tabs, and spending 45 high-stress minutes just trying to triage one complex server incident. But on the other hand, we have the structured, instant resolution you can achieve when you treat Claude as a true operations engine. A properly engineered prompt can literally compress that entire 45-minute headache into a 10-second machine-readable summary. It's an absolute paradigm shift in how we handle our workloads.
All right, let's dive into our roadmap for this explainer. We'll start with a quick look at prompt anatomy, and then we're going to master 5 production-grade prompts. We'll hit ticket triage, extracting root causes from raw logs, drafting incident emails, translating cryptic errors, and finally, turning automated sentry traces straight into JSON. But before we get to the specific prompts, you absolutely need to understand the 4-pillar prompt structure that really separates the casual users from the true operators. Number 1 is the role. Who is Claude acting as? Number 2 is context. Number 3 is the task itself. And number 4 is the output format. Unlike other models that kind of try to guess your intent, which, let's face it, leads to massive hallucinations and wasted time, Claude takes instructions very literally. And here is your secret weapon. Claude natively understands XML tags. Wrapping your context in tags, like, say, putting log data inside a tag, compartmentalizes the data so the system knows exactly what's an instruction and what's merely reference material. Okay, let's kick things off with number 1, triaging incoming support tickets. We've all experienced that sinking feeling, right? That moment a vague, chaotic ticket suddenly lands in the queue and you realize you're on duty. The visceral pain point of IT is reading a user message that just says, "The system is down, please fix ASAP." Usually with absolutely zero context and a whole lot of exclamation marks. So how do we take the panic-driven emotion out of this and efficiently classify it so our team can actually get to work? Well, here's the difference between a novice and an expert. A junior prompt simply pastes the text and says, "Fix this bug," just crossing their fingers and hoping for the best. But the senior approach uses explicit constraints. By wrapping that chaotic user message in a customer_email XML tag, we isolate the noise from our instructions. This absolutely guarantees actionable output instead of just generic, unhelpful advice. And here is your first copy-pastable prompt. You are a Tier 3 engineer. Read the ticket inside the XML tags, categorize the issue, identify the affected system, and list initial triage steps. See, by assigning a specific role, a Tier 3 engineer, you instantly get a more authoritative, highly structured response. You're not asking for a chat, you're demanding an engineering workflow, and the AI steps right up to match that expectation. Moving right along to number 2, extracting root causes from raw server logs, which brings us to arguably the most tedious and eye-straining phase of IT support. Just imagine staring at a massive log dump, thousands upon thousands of lines of timestamps, obscure warnings, system states, and raw text. Finding the true root cause manually is, let's be honest, like finding a needle in a haystack. But Claude's architecture actually features a massive 1 million token context window. What that means is you can literally paste an entire history of server logs into a single session without it losing track or forgetting the beginning of the file. So, to extract the root cause, use this prompt. Analyze these server logs. Use the 5 whys methodology to move from the symptom to the underlying primary fault. This is incredibly powerful because it explicitly invokes the 5 whys methodology, which is a total staple of incident management best practices. You're forcing the AI to step through the logical chain of failure, analyzing cause and effect, rather than just lazily pointing out the very first error code it happens to see. And when you enforce this structure, the AI generates a beautifully clean tabular root cause analysis. It maps out the chronological timeline, identifies the primary fault, quantifies the business impact, and even lists preventative action items. It takes what was once an unreadable wall of text and turns it into an executive-ready postmortem in seconds. Seriously, it is incredibly satisfying to watch. Now, once you know what went wrong, you face our third challenge: drafting client-facing incident emails without causing unnecessary panic. When generating communications, a lot of engineers make what experts call the pink elephant mistake. Basically, if I tell you don't think of a pink elephant, you instantly think of one, right? If you tell Claude, do not sound technical, it ironically focuses its attention directly on technical language. Instead, you've got to use positive framing. Explain this to a non-technical executive. Tell it exactly what you do want. This immediately shifts the focus to clarity and business context. So, your prompt becomes draft an incident update using the provided details. Format as an executive summary focusing on business impact and next steps. Claude is uniquely good at staying on tone without injecting generic filler or hedging language, provided you give it these positive bounded constraints. Because we asked for an executive summary, Claude will automatically output an email structured exactly like this: business impact, current status, actionable steps, and expected resolution time. It's a perfectly formatted email ready for dispatch. This completely bypasses the massive anxiety of staring at a blank screen, trying to find the right words, while your managers are breathing down your neck and the system is literally on fire. All right, number 4, translating cryptic error messages. And to be clear, this focuses on translation between machines and humans, bridging the gap for junior staff or non-technical stakeholders. Consider this highly relatable challenge. A user submits a screenshot of a 404 database timeout or some messy, totally intimidating exception trace. How on earth do you explain what that means to a client who barely knows what a database actually is, without sounding patronizing or overly complex? Notice the strict formatting requirement we use here? Translate this error. Provide a 3-part response: what happened, why it happened, and exactly what the user should do next. By demanding this specific 3-part structure, you completely prevent the AI from rambling into technical tangents or over-explaining the architecture. It forces clarity, empathy, and direct action. Finally, let's build up to our 5th and most advanced use case. This is where we move away from conversational output entirely and start generating machine-readable data for automation pipelines. Here is the ultimate senior engineer tactic. You paste a raw Sentry stock trace into Claude and use this prompt: analyze the Sentry trace. Output only valid JSON matching this schema: summary, high severity underscore risks, recommended underscore fix. By combining the format command with a strict schema, you basically transform Claude from a conversational assistant into a strictly typed function. The output is predictable, parsable, and ready to be piped directly into your ticketing system or dashboard. So the crucial point here is this number, 10. It takes just 10 seconds. 10 seconds for Claude to parse that raw, intimidating Sentry stack trace into a perfectly structured JSON summary. Just think about the manual effort, the mental drain, and the sheer time that process just completely replaced. What we've been talking about today is fundamentally a shift in our core skills. Prompt engineering, if you just think of it as tweaking a few words, is dead. We have officially moved into the realm of context engineering. That means designing rigorous instructions, leveraging XML tags, and providing the exact scoped data needed to guide the AI to a precise, reliable output. It's about treating your interactions with Claude with the exact same respect as writing production code. I'm going to leave you with this final provocative thought. If a single 10-second, properly engineered prompt can replace 45 minutes of manual triage, which part of your chaotic IT workflow are you going to automate first? The tools are sitting right there in front of you. Grab these prompts, open up Claude, and start engineering your context today. Thanks so much for joining me in this explainer.